Hello everyone, Rare Model Reviews here. Yes, I know it's been some time, but if anyone seen my last video, at least I think I put that video out. I said I did, yeah. I mentioned the state of videos on this channel, but this is gonna be another update. Honestly, after trying to fiddle with that camera and get it to even upload my footage onto my laptop, to no avail. By the way, I just decided Uh, I was just, I just decided to sell the camera. So for those of you who said the quality was crap, I was better just going back to my phone. Yeah, I guess there's a told you so. I should have sold it when I had the chance to get a full refund instead of a quarter of what I paid for it. But regardless, I'll probably end up looking at some other more successful reviewers, see what cameras they're using, and setup and all that. And when I can afford it, I go ahead and get on that bandwagon. But for the meantime, I'm just gonna go back to my roots of just doing it as cheaply and efficiently as possible. And of course, that is with my phone. And it's just funny to the guy I sold it to is even saying that these phones are so advanced now. It's to the point where people aren't even really buying video recorders like that. So I mean, I sort of kind of believe what he said just because the fact that honestly, looking at my phone and in that camera, the quality wasn't that amazing. I mean, it was like an $800 camera. You think that something that's literally there just for pictures and videos would be better than the $1,000 phone, which does a bunch of different things, including that. But we're not going to get into that. We're just going to get into what we have here. So that is going to be, of course, P Bandai. This came out 2021. Raised Burrel's Zaku Phantom. So this is one I was looking for a while. There was an Ezak one that came out on P Bandai some time ago I could have gotten, but I forget why I passed up on that one. I think it might be because that one had like a bunch of different weapons. Maybe it's a different kit. Getting confused, but I swore it was Ezak's. But regardless, eventually when that one comes back, I'll probably end up getting that too. But I really wanted a Zaku Warrior for a while now. Yeah, I know this one's called a Phantom, not a Warrior, but this is literally a Zaku Warrior with a different backpack setup. So I can't wait to look at this thing and eventually build it. Especially as I did kind of hear some mixed things about Luna's Zaku Warrior, or what was that thing called? What was it? Blast Zaku Warrior? Gunner Zaku Warrior, that's right. Mostly around the pack. I think the model itself, though, people said was top notch. But yeah, moving on along. So we of course have some black tubing there. There's a beam effect in there as well. See if we get a better look there. Have some of that white color there, black to reds. Have this color. I can't quite describe it. I want to say it's like kind of like a Pink Panther color, if not purple, a light purple, pinkish purple. Pretty sure you call it a pinkish purple Pink Panther. But moving on, some water slide decals. Another piece here for the shield. Looks like some more black tubings and whatnot, and it looks like a rifle there as well. And more of that color here. An extra runner for the other shields that go around its other arm. This looks like a mirror of the first plate we looked at, if I'm not mistaken. More of those red tubings and whatnot. Looks like that's also sticker sheet there. I don't know where it went. I saw a sticker sheet here, but I think I kind of lost it in the bag after flipping around. I could see it there. Okay, you probably can't quite make that up, but there you go. Yeah, it's a mono eye in there, so that's what's that sticker sheet. Have the manual, of course. I just take that out now. Of course, have black runners. Looks like that's for the legs and some of the joints. Okay, so this is more of a purple. So I'm gonna assume either one of these is like a recolor of the same sheet here. Yeah, this has got to be. Because, yeah, this is exactly the same, but it's in purple this time. So we'll see what we use these for. I imagine there's going to be some leftover parts that we're using stuff. Same for this one. It just looks familiar. I see some parts for their hands there as well. So it looks like this thing indeed does use bracket hands. It's not a surprise. It's what most modern kids use now. Some more parts here for the shields and whatnot. We have something for the bazooka. And then we have this M2 piece here for the head and its antenna. It looks like that's for the beam hawk, or beam tomahawk. I'm gonna assume it stands for beam tomahawk. I don't think it's a heat hawk. Okay, so that's gonna do it for everything in here. We're gonna go ahead and get into the menu. So, for reference, I'm gonna also mention that I'm probably gonna end up looking into another video editing program. It worked just fine before. I just personally didn't like the one I had before, as it felt a little restricted. But moving on along here, we of course have X's all over this these runners for the parts that you do not use. And then it's interesting, they're telling you to remove these before you even start cutting things out. So I'm guessing that's so you don't confuse things. But I mean, I don't see what's the difference between that and the X's with the other thing. But we'll see if I end up going extra and cutting things out in advance like this thing is telling me to. So we, of course, also want to mention that this is one of the more top-notch P-Bandai kits that actually has its own separate manual, as opposed to it using the, let's say, the Gunner Zaku Warriors manual and then kind of improvising with a little cheap 2-page manual, whatever, where kind of tell you, hey, pick up from this part or whatever. I hate when they do that. This makes it actually feel premium when it has its own menu, even though it doesn't have a little extra, you know, history of the suit and all that other information, which really makes it feel like an actual release kit. Moving on, we of course have it explain how to do the gimmicks on how to open a hatch and whatnot. Overall, just looking at this thing, pretty modern build. Nothing looks overly complicated. Very curious to see how this thing compares to a lot of Xeon stuff. I'm gonna assume it's gonna end up going a lot better, as it looks like it has like a little flexible material here, but it's not like the Zaku 2.0 and all those other kits where, you know, you have to put that the armor over the little wire tube or whatever. People hate those. I built a few Zaku 2.0s. It wasn't too bad. I feel like people kind of complained about it more than they needed to. So, yep. Nothing really to write on home about here. Like I said, it's nothing too fancy. I'm looking at the fanciest thing I've seen in this menu so far was, again, like I was just going over with the wires around this thing. We just have, of course, assembly of the accessories here now. Nothing looks too complicated to build. Everything looks like it's built in half a like half a page, not a quarter of a page. So very cool. Then we of course have the Blaze Wizard, which is what the pack for this thing is called. They're all called Wizard packs, right? Yeah, the Gunner Wizard, Blaze Wizard. This one was called, right? What is a Blaze Wizard, right? Huh. But this thing's got a Zaku Phantom. Maybe one of you see Destiny fans to be able to tell me what's the difference between the Zaku Phantom and the Zaku Warrior. Maybe there is some difference that I'm overlooking. Only thing I could think of would make it a Phantom and a Warrior would be maybe the Commander's antenna. I forget whether Luna had a Commander antenna or not. I mean, they're both red, so. At the same time, they're all reds on the same ship, so. That goes on to the question of, if they weren't all reds in the same ship, does that mean they all have the authority to like lead a squad? Because that's one thing that always kind of confused me about Destiny. You don't really hear it even being called lieutenant or ensign. That it's like always, you know, you're red, and it's like there'd be the commanders and the captains and stuff. But yeah, that's gonna be it for this video. Keep this short and sweet. So, like I said before, I'm gonna try to get a video editing software. That doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to be reviewing, you know, even one thing a week. That's still something I got to ease into, as I think I kind of touched on it before, but I'm going to touch on it again. Things aren't looking too good for me financially right now, if I'm completely honest. So until that situation gets ironed out, your boy might be working 2 jobs, so he might not have too much time to do mini reviews. Doing something like unboxing though, that's nothing. But again, like I said before, I'm gonna say again, let's just something super short like the ball twin set I did a while ago. It's gonna be a little bit of an ass for me to do a review, especially because again, there's a certain quality, you know, I expect for this channel at this point. I've been doing it long enough. Like, I got this rotation base. I haven't used that thing since I shut off one of my unboxings a while ago, and I like to do that. I should have done it with the ball thing, but again, that was me rushing that video out But again, that's it. 10-minute video. Thank you guys all so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, you know what to do. And as always, take care. See you in the next video or review.